Thank you. Okay, yep. Congratulations to Virginia. They played really well tonight. And, you know, they obviously were clearly better than we were. We thought at times we were a little step slow. And some of it is stylistically playing them. They're probably the hardest team in the league to play against in terms of what it takes, consistency of effort and discipline. You know, their offensive movement is very good and taxing on you. And if you're just a little fatigued and wear down a little bit, you're going to get burned. And I thought that happened to us some. I thought we got a little frustrated by some missed shots. I did think we had some decent shots for a while. Beginning the second half, I thought we had some good ones. But, you know, I thought that probably took the air out of our sails a little bit. But they were just better, a little bit quicker to the ball, and they played much better than we did tonight.
Questions? Raise your hand. Let us get the handheld mic. First one, back of the room.
Coach Brownell, a lot of teams don't think you guys deserve to be in the NCAA tournament. What would your argument to the committee be with a 23-10 record?
Yeah, you know, 4 or 5, I don't know where Virginia Tech is. They're 74, they're 75, they're 76. So if they're 76, we have 4 quad 1 wins. If they're 75 or 4, we have 5. And I think what's impressive about it is 4 of them are away from home. And I think that's significant. I think you have to prove that you can beat good teams. And if you do it away, some teams do it at home. If you do it away from home, and if you do it, you know, consistency versus the amount of games you get to play. Unfortunately, our league didn't have quite as many, and some of the non-conference games tournaments and things we tried to schedule, the teams didn't play quite as well. But the games we got to play, we were 500 or better in those quad 1 games. So we clearly, and there's teams that they have in the tournament ahead of us, some in our league that we've beaten, some multiple times, others at their place, and in other leagues we've beaten teams. So I think just, you know, for those reasons, if you're truly looking for the 68 best teams, we're one of the 68 best teams. Finishing 3rd in this league too, by the way.
Other questions? Back left. We also have questions on Zoom. If you have a question on Zoom, please use the raise hand.
Brad, just how hard is it to guard some of their ball screen action, and how did you feel like you guys did with it?
Not very well. I mean, it's all hard. It's, you know, they run their sides motion where they're, you know, coming off flares, pin downs, then into ball screens. It's just constant movement, and there's a wearing effect. And you get a little bit behind, and it's on any kind of cut, and there's going to be a crease. And whether it's a shot off the cut or a drive off the cut, a lot of times it's a drive off the cut that puts you behind, and now you're kind of in some rotations. And we got put in some rotations in the first half, and we had trouble blocking out bigger players, and so they hurt us on the glass. It's obviously an outstanding offense. I think, you know, the thing that I always say about Tony and his program and his team, their offense and defense fit together perfectly. And so that's why they're consistently very hard to beat and play against, is their system fits. And, you know, it's obviously hard to guard. And then you go down on the other end, and it's hard to score against them. And you've got to really work physically to cut hard, screen hard, move the ball quickly, and attack a closeout. And then, you know, to score on them, it's challenging. So you're using a lot of energy on both instances. And when you play this team after playing the night before at 9:30, it's probably doubly hard, unless you get off to a good start, get your crowd into it, make some shots, get your juice going. And we couldn't get enough of that going in this game to sustain it.
To our left.
Question for the players. We just heard Brad's pitch to the committee, I guess, having been in all these games, played all these games, won all these games. What's your pitch to the committee about why Clemson deserves to be in the field?
PJ.
over the, was it 23-10, 33 games, you look at our complete body of work, I think there's plenty of wins home and away that show we can play with anyone in the country when we play our best. Obviously tonight wasn't a great showcase of that. I've taken a lot of responsibility for that. The first 5 out there, we didn't quite bring the heat we needed to, but if you look at some of the games we played this year, how we played on the road, how we played with our backs on the ropes late in games and finished, there's not a doubt in my mind that we're one of the best teams in the country and belong in the tournament. I say that wholeheartedly, and there's nothing more to it.
Hunter?
Yeah, man, I agree with PJ. I've worked so hard. This team has worked so hard. And I can honestly say I feel like we've left it all out there. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just looking for recognition of what I believe we've earned. Like Coach said, if you really want the best 68 teams, we're one of them. And we'll have our fingers crossed on Sunday, but I truly believe we should get in. I believe our body of work has earned us a spot in the tournament. Obviously, I understand we have some tough losses, but at the end of the day, we should be in the tournament.
To our right.
Brad, you were down 4 with 4 to go in the first half, and then it kind of turned.
Yeah.
Went a long stretch of missing shots. And what did you see then? Did you
Yeah,
feel good at that point, and what did you see after that?
I told the guys in some of the timeouts preceding that I didn't think we were playing as well, that we were playing just okay, that I felt like we were a step slow, and that we had to, we hung in there. We were fighting and competing, but we're going to have to kick it up a notch, and we're going to have to play better, and we're going to have to make some shots for this thing to flip. Off the top of my head, without seeing it, I can't remember exactly what happened right at the end of the first half where it got away from us, but obviously that was critical because when Virginia gets a double-figure lead against you, your tendency is to press a little bit, and they just don't make many mistakes, if any, to give you a chance to come back. And so you tend to then press a little bit more, and it can get away from you, and that's probably what happened. I thought we did get some good shots at the beginning of the second half, and we didn't make them. And that was, eventually you got to start making some shots, and we couldn't do it.
Left aisle.
Brad, it seems like RJ and Dylan really played well for you guys here and at times down the stretch. Just how have you seen those guys growing and what have?
Yeah, I thought they had a little more energy. Obviously, they don't play quite as much in most games. I thought they brought great toughness and athleticism and juice to the game for our team, and that's why they play. Physically, they can impact the game. We've got to continue to work with them on their skills, but they've really improved, and that's a big environment out there, and for those guys to compete as well as they did, I'm really proud of those young players.
Back left.
For PJ and Hunter, I don't think you guys have had a press conference for the last month where you haven't been asked about the NCAA tournament every time you guys speak. Does that start to have like a weighing effect on you every time you're out on the floor?
Hunter.
I don't know if it really weighs on you. I think we've used it as motivation here down the stretch. Obviously tonight didn't go like we wanted to, but I think it was a bit of a motivator here down the stretch, last night especially. But, every time we just hear about it, but we just try to focus on, what we can control, coming in every day, doing our jobs, and we'll let everybody else talk about it. But like I said, I believe we should be in the tournament, and I guess that's all I have to say about that.
PJ?
Really, I'd say no, and I think that's a credit to our team and why we should be in there. We don't worry about the kind of outside noise. We came into the tournament as a 3 seed. Everybody's saying, oh, you have to play the team and just be drug Virginia Tech through the dirt. And we came out there and we did that to them. We're not worried about the outside noise. We came out there guns firing. We don't get too rattled by that stuff. Obviously tonight we got to hand it to us on a platter, but we try not to worry about that and go out there and do our job. So I think with that being said, we don't get too rattled by the outside noise. That's what makes us a good team. We just keep fighting for each other and playing for each other.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, thanks.